I'm going to show you a very simple way to learn two languages at the same time. You can even learn three or four if you want to. Um, we've just made some changes in the app. It's been some updates, as you can see. Now we've got dark mode. Many of you were asking for that in the comments. There's been a lot of other changes as well, space repetition, and more importantly, audio in both languages. So now you've got audio in the target language, of course, but also audio in your own language. So if you click here,
أنا هنا.
I am here.
أنت هنا.
You are here.
so you hear the sentences that you're learning in the target language first, and then in the base language, in your base language. You can disable that and only listen to them in the target language if you prefer doing that. I personally prefer listening to them in the target language only because you can listen to double the amount of sentences per hour. It's as simple as that, right? However, I see the benefits of being able to listen to your base language as well, especially if you're going for a walk and you don't have the screen in front of you and you if you don't really understand what you're listening to yet, you don't know the sentences all that well, maybe you want to listen to the translation so you can actually understand them, all right? So in that case, it makes sense to
أنا هنا.
listen.
I am here.
It makes sense to listen to to your base language as well. This is shadowing mode, by the way. If you do active recall mode, then you get the sentences in the opposite order. So you hear them in your base language.
I am here.
أنا هنا.
And then you hear them in the target language. So if you go for a walk, for example, or you are doing whatever, you hear in each sentence in your language or in your base language before hearing it in the target language. So you can try to guess the meaning in the target language, and you're doing active recall without having it in front of you. So it's basically like doing flashcards on the go, just with audio. So it's extremely effective and practical, right? It's convenient. And it gets even better than that, because if you want to learn more than one language at the same time, if you are into languages, you probably want to learn several languages, or maybe you want to get better at a language that you can already speak, but you can always, more practice is always better. Then what you can do is come to profile here, and you change your native base language into another language that you've been learning. Let's say, well, I've been learning Bosnian recently, so I change it to Bosnian, and I go back, and I'm in Arabic learning mode, but my base language is now Bosnian. I'm stronger in Bosnian, way stronger in Bosnian than in Arabic, for now. So now I get the sentences in Bosnian, and of course you probably can't understand these, but I can, because I've been reviewing them a lot. And this is important. You should only do this with sentences. So if you're doing two languages at the same time like this, your base language should be your stronger language, and the materials you're using should be materials that you've learned really well in the language. So these are A1 sentences in the app. I've read and listened to these and repeated them out loud over and over again in Bosnian. I know them, so I can understand them easily when I hear them. Otherwise, this would be a waste of time, because I wouldn't understand Bosnian and I wouldn't understand Arabic probably, and then what's the point, right? So you need to first make sure that you know that lesson really well, that language island or that vocabulary list really well before you try doing this. But once you know it well, once you know that batch of sentences well, you can start doing this, and you can play it in both languages, and you can either do shadowing or just listening, right?
أنا هنا.
Ja sam ovdje.
أنت هنا.
Ti si ovdje.
أنا
I'd rather have it this way. It's much nicer.
أنا متعب.
Umoran sam.
أنا مستعد.
Spreman sam.
So you go for a walk and you hear the sentences in your target language, in the language you're weaker. First, you try to understand them, and then you get them again in the language that you're learning, that in which you've got a higher level. All right? So you get the meaning, you understand them if you didn't understand them the first time, you understand them the second time, because the second language, your base language, should be your stronger language. And again, these should be sentences you've reviewed a lot in the first language. So in your stronger language. So this is mode 1. Basically, you hear the weaker language first and then your stronger language, sentence by sentence, and you try to understand them. Or, much more challenging, you hear them in your stronger language first, and you try to say them at the same time or right before your weaker language. Yeah, you do active recall.
Ja sam ovdje.
أنا هنا.
Ti si ovdje.
أنت هنا.
Umoran sam.
أنا متعب.
Yeah, and this is of course much more difficult. So I recommend starting with shadowing first. Once you understand them relatively easily, you try doing active recall. But do them, the more of them you do, the more of both you do, the better, really. And now with audio, you can do them on the go. You can do them all day, while driving, while going for walks. I do it on the beach all the time. Just go for walks and do lots of listening and shadowing. Now I can do active recall as well this way. All right? So this is how you learn 2 languages or even 3 languages at the same time. Let's say you're learning German, Italian, and French. And French is by far your strongest language. Then you use French as your base language, and you learn more German using French as your base language, doing this. And then you also learn Italian as your target language, with French as your base language. So in an hour, you can get German, half an hour of German with French as your base language, and half an hour of Italian with French as your base language. So you practice in all 3, and you're getting plenty of practice in both. Yeah, it's really simple. Again, requires discipline, and this is hard work, right? But if you do this daily for half an hour a day per language, you will get results.